So you might be wondering, Bolt, why are you doing a battle group overview? The game isn't even released yet. Well, I kind of just wanted to glance over the 5th Panzer Division before the actual game releases, and also just give you guys this battle group that you can use in the beta without spending too much time on it, and instead just playing the game itself. So it's really similar to how the war game decks are built. So if you've been coming over from that series, it will look pretty similar to that, and you might feel at home. And yeah, so today I'll just be talking about what I have selected here, and the reasoning behind some of these units, and the battle group code will be in the description if you want to use it yourself. So let's just start off with the recon. So the thing about recon units is they won't move the front line, so you can use these as like a task force to assault the enemy in the flank without them actually noticing that the front line is moving at all. So in the recon tab, to do that, which is like the primary point or the primary use of my recon units in the beginning, is I've put this STKFZ 2059 in here, which is a nice little half track that has a 50 and a 20 mil. Actually, I should say a 20 mil and a 7.92 MG34. It's really nice. It has a really good range of 1,000 meters on that 20 and 750 meters on that MG34. And all of these stats were not as detailed in Steel Division Normandy 44. And before I do continue, everything is subject to change. So these values might change, or like the deployment cost of this unit and such, or the availability might change it as well. So it's actually in French here. But yeah, speaking of availability, so you can actually choose in which deployment phase you want this unit to deploy. So I've gone with phase A, and I just went for kind of like a medium experienced version of it, which gives me 5. Now if you go for less experience, you get more. If you go for more experience, you get less. And also, if you take these units in later phases, you get much more of them because they just slowly become obsolete. So I have 5 of these. You can also go for some BMWs here with a nice MG34. You can get for more of these, but you can also get some sick tanks, a Panther D. Alright, so I also have some infantry recon here. So I have these Sperrtruppen who carry an MP40, a G43 and an MG34. So really nice loadout here for an all-around recon unit. The range is also detailed here if you want to go through that. One really fun thing about infantry is you can pick what kind of transport you want these units in. So you can either go for an armed truck like this, the STKFZ, which I might actually do, or you can go for like a Kubo wagon that does not have any weapons on it. And the last unit I have is a nice Panzer IV-J, which is a really great unit to use early on in the beginning if you do want to do like any form of flanking or sneaky pushes that does not move the front line. So in the infantry tab, a wide variety of infantry you can choose out of. The Panzer Grenadier here is definitely one of my favorite units that I have not put in here since I wanted to play around with the other units, but obviously, or I should say honestly, some of the other units basically have the same type of firepower. Although these guys have the MG42 compared to the MG34 of the Pioneers. But then again, the Pioneers are better equipped for close quarters because they have multiple MP40s. Anyways, I have some Ersatztruppen in these Opel wagons here, but this is basically like my main reserve or line infantry. I just have 12 of these on the lowest experience possible, so the cheapest infantry that I can get to basically fill the gaps, and they're really useful for that. And I can actually hold their own. They got a Carabiner 98 and an MP40 there. So, also command unit, I got the Pioneer Führer here. Also carry some MP40s, Carabiners, and they have these frag HE shells, which do quite a bit of damage to infantry. And I have 3 of these on medium veterancy, and they just come in this kind of weak, well, I shouldn't say weak, but they come in this Horch 108 vehicle, which kind of looks like a really fun Jeep from Indiana Jones. And then I also have some Pioneers, and these are mainly anti-infantry infantry. They have these HE shell grenades, they have MG34s, Carabiners, MP40s, really strong 10-man squad, perfect for like just basically infantry on infantry action. And to deal with enemy armored vehicles, I also have some Panzer Grenadiers with the Panzerfaust 60, which is a great anti-tank weapon, 120 meters range, which is actually quite phenomenal if you think about that in real life. And they also carry the MG42 here, so that kind of balances out those Panzer Grenadiers that we didn't put in. There they are. And also some MP40s. So that is all I have for Phase A, and so far it has actually served me quite well. So in Phase B we have some leader units with Panzerfaust. We have the Panzer Grenadier Führer units, 4 of them on medium experience. We have 8 Pioneer units, my main anti-infantry, again with MG34s, Carabiners and MP40s, and I've put them in like this SDKF set. So in the later phase usually I'm trying to get my infantry in vehicles that have guns so that I can use the guns as fire support. In the case of this really cheap infantry, I'm not going for it. So the Pioneer in SDKF set and the Panzer Grenadiers here in SDKF set as well, and these are basically the same that we saw earlier. So loads of infantry units, and I usually go for like half or medium veterancy just to get numbers. The tanks tab, I kind of went nuts. So in Phase A we have some Panzer IVHs, really beautiful looking tanks. Not so great in War Thunder, but definitely very effective in this game. I have 3 of them on the highest veterancy, just to make use of that really cheap tank and just make them as strong as possible. I also have 2 of these guys on medium veterancy as like a command unit, Panzer IVH Führer units. And then we also have 2 medium veterancy Tiger E's in Phase A. So we have 6-7 really good tanks in Phase A. So if you do want to do really early on push, it is possible. And you can also put Panther G's in Phase A. So, but again, as I said, they are subject to change, these stats. But the good thing is you can only get 1 of them if you do go for it. So in Phase E is basically where I go all out. I have 2 Tiger E Führers, basically this guy but a command unit of it, and I have it on max veterancy in Phase B. I also have Panther A Führers, medium veterancy in Phase B, just to kind of add more buff to it. And the cool thing about these units is, when comparing, it really gives you a nice overview of the stats and the differences in stats. And I do hope that they actually keep building up on this, like where, for instance, if I click like a compare button and then hovers over something else, that it would tell me which values have increased or decreased. That might be a nice touch. But yeah, so here you can see that the penetration value of the Panther A is better at 185 mils, and the damage of the Tiger is better though, and the suppression rate of the Panther is better, whilst the what else is better with the Tiger? For instance, the side armor of the Tiger is better, and so on. So that would be really nice details to just show in one side instead of having to look at 2. But that is just me. We also have some Panther G's, 2 of these guys on medium veterancy, and 2 cards of that. And we also have some Panther G Führers. And from what I've noticed, this absolutely kicks ass in this setup. So in the support tab, some MG42s, obviously, and I've just put them in these KF-Z 70 vehicles. You can already obviously change these to the Horch, making it maybe a little bit faster. You're just gonna have to go through what you like, really. You can also go for a Schwimmwagen, which should be able to traverse water, although I've not seen any water yet. Or you can go for no transport, which I don't really recommend. And we also have some grills. Now these are one of my favorite units. They just blast infantry away. And I have 3 of these guys on medium veterancy. You can also go for Tigers. Now the thing about these kind of command units is, as the details here suggests, improves the resilience and fighting abilities of nearby units, but also helps coordinating units over the radio net. And what this does is, if you have a few of these guys in like a line across the front line, they will create this sphere of influence that basically buffs up all of those units in that region. So really useful to use. I've not made use of them enough. I could definitely use some of these in my deck, but so far I've not really found sufficient use for them, because these guys, these leaders, have kind of already taken over that role. But just for the sake of it, what I might do here is actually take one of these guys out and potentially... Okay, it looks like we can only get one of them. Well, might as well get a Panther A then in that case. Just a really beefed up tank. And I have some supplies in Phase B, 3 of these guys, to keep everything rearmed. So anti-tank wise, I didn't go for too many of these Marder 3s or anti-tank guns, but I do have some really nice ones in Phase A, kind of like a defensive AT gun here, a Pack 36. I've just put them in the KFZ 70s on the highest veterancy possible, and in that case they definitely do kick ass. So 2 kilometers range and 180 millimeter penetration. So that's 18 centimeters of penetration and quite a lot of damage. So they can take down pretty much everything up until like T70, T34 or 86s basically. They do a lot of damage. Some Panzerschreck in case we run out of Panzer Grenadiers, or in case we just want to do a really stealthy and longer range engagement of enemy armor. And I've just put these guys on medium veterancy. What I actually might do is, since in Phase A it usually boils down to infantry instead, I might put these guys up to Phase B on a higher veterancy. And I do want to keep them on these motorbike things because they're just faster that way. And more anti-tank in Phase B. I also have some of these Pack 40 75 mils on medium veterancy. So anti-air, it is much stronger, so you don't need to fill it up just like people used to do in Steel Division 44 or Normandy 44. So I only have 2 cards here. So I have some Gepards in Phase A, medium veterancy, and they definitely do a lot of good work. They actually stun and kill enemy planes. So I definitely recommend putting some of these guys in Phase A. And to top it off, I have some of these SDKFZ 7-1s, which are basically a quad 20 millimeter AA gun, and these wreck, absolutely wreck. I could also put in some 88s, but so far I've not really found a really good use for these. I just found them obsolete since these gun AAs did more than plenty to kill the enemy planes. But, you know, that just boils down to what you want to use. Now it becomes interesting, because what we have here is a lot of artillery. What I went for is mobile artillery. I did not go for off-map artillery. One, because I didn't really think I would need it that much, but you can do so. What I went for is mortars. These guys are relatively close range, 3 kilometers in Phase A on max veterancy, which decreases the spread of the shells. You can also go for 1 lower, which gives you 3 of these, but so far I found 2 to be more than enough, and I don't want to really like drown the enemy in arty. And then in Phase C, I have 1 Hummel here, medium veterancy. I don't know why it shows up as 1, because I thought we had more of these. Yeah, that's kind of weird, doesn't it? Because I thought we get 2 of these. At least I've gotten 2 of these. You know what? Let's put them in Phase B on medium, on the lowest experience possible, because I just want these guys to stun the general area anyways. But yeah, and some Hummels to basically just stun the enemy line of sight. So we could also go for some of these howitzer type AA artillery, like the 105 mils here, which you get quite a lot of. You can actually get 6 of these, or you can go for some Wesps in Phase C, which gives you 3. Now, what is the main difference between these two? So the Wesp has a range of, does it say? It really does not say. They have an insane range. Let's just stick to that. They can basically fire pretty much across the map, so they're really powerful. So what we could actually do is cancel that and go for some Wesp instead, because I could have sworn that we got more of those Hummels. Also, planes, really powerful now. They definitely wreck enemy planes and ground units alike. Bombers, probably going to need some work. This is not a bomber, this is a ground attack. But bombers kill tanks super easily. So that's probably going to be nerfed really soon. But yeah. So for now, I have some of these Do 217s, ground attack planes, with 20 mils, 792s, and 13 mils all around the plane. So that it has actually 8 guns on the front, 4 20s and 4 MG17s, and also has a turret right there in case a plane follows it right there. So I have 4 of these in Phase A, and I also have a fighter, a 190 A8 in Phase A on medium veterancy, and I also have some medium veterancy 190 A8s in phase B. Just really good all around air supremacy fighters. And defense, I basically just filled it up. So what I might actually be tempted to do is remove the gun pit and get more MG42s in there if I can. There we go. Because those are really useful. You can just put these down pretty much everywhere, and they have a really good range of 1500 meters, and they will just wreck infantry. So if you put them in a really strategic position, like in a wood or in an area that has like a valley that it can just fire into, that would be really good. Trenches, definitely important to use. Infantry can use these to make themselves really resilient. And barbed wire, which blocks, well, it doesn't block, but it slows down pretty much everything that tries to cross it. But yeah, I hope this battle group will get you into the game a little bit easier, or you can use this as kind of like a template for yourself. I do definitely like to just play around with battle groups and just build them from scratch, but if it does help anyone, then I'll be very happy. But yeah, hopefully that did help you out. Please do let me know down in the comment section what you thought about the first videos that I released. Also, I have a giveaway that is going on. Check out the link in the description. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.